Imagine this. The moment you retire, bills you never noticed start landing in your mailbox. The monthly health insurance contribution your employer paid, gone. The automatic tax withholdings, vanished. Suddenly, you are responsible for it all. And if you're under 65, Medicare won't kick in for years. It sounds like freedom until reality hits. Whatever. Let's meet Alex. He's 62, just retired after a 3-5-year career in tech with a tidy portfolio of $950,000. On paper, he's set. Then there's Ben, also 62, similar career, same savings, but he chose a slightly different retirement date. The difference in their outcomes is shocking, and it hinges on timing. Here's the thing nobody explains. Picture your retirement savings as a massive cargo ship, not a yacht. For decades, you've been loading cargo paychecks, dividends, reinvested gains. A fully loaded ship is heavy, low in the water, stable. Storms barely rock it. But the day you retire, you flip direction. You stop loading and start unloading. And suddenly, everything changes. The ship rises, its center of gravity shifts, and even small waves can create real instability. Alex's ship, he planned carefully. Ben's, he didn't realize he was sailing into a storm his portfolio wasn't ready for. This is the loading vessel problem. The financial physics of retirement nobody teaches you in the brochures or in financial calculators. But here's what really grabs attention. It's not the market downturns that usually get people. It's when they happen relative to your withdrawals. A 40% loss in year 1 of retirement can devastate your portfolio. The same loss in year 20, not nearly as dangerous. That's why timing matters more than total returns. Now, you might be wondering, what small changes could make Ben's disaster temporary instead of permanent? That's what we'll explore in the next segment, along with the key moves that protect Alex's cargo from storms. And quick, if this scenario hits home, hit like now. Consider it your first investment in mastering retirement math. Comment 1 if you've thought about this risk before. Let's dive into what actually ruins retirement plans, the sequence of returns risk. Alex and Ben have the same $950,000 portfolio. Both plan to withdraw $38,000 a year, a standard rate for 3-0-year retirement planning. On paper, everything looks identical. Alex retires in January 2015, a market that had been steadily growing. His first 2 years, his portfolio grows even after withdrawals. By year 3, his balance is around $1,020,000. He has ballast his ship is heavy, stable, and ready for any storm that comes later. Ben retires just 2 years later, in January 2017, unknowingly sailing straight into volatility. The S&P 500 dips significantly during his first 2 years. Each withdrawal he makes in this period is like unloading cargo during a storm. He sells shares at lower prices. By the end of year 2, Ben's $950,000 is down to roughly $520,000. That's nearly a 45% drop right at the start of his retirement. Here's why it's deadly. The 4% rule assumes a steady or long-term average market growth. But the math works in reverse during bad timing. Ben's withdrawals now represent a higher percentage of his shrinking portfolio, closer to 7% instead of 4%. The compounding advantage he had while loading is gone. Even if the market recovers later, much of the lost potential was never part of his portfolio anymore. The takeaway? Early retirement timing matters more than total market returns. Alex and Ben will experience identical long-term market performance. But because of when they start withdrawals, Ben is exposed to a storm while his ship is still light and unstable. Every dollar he pulls out now has less chance to participate in future growth. So, now, here's the twist. Small strategic changes could have saved Ben from this fate. Building a cash buffer to cover the first 2 years, for example, allows withdrawals without touching equities during the worst volatility. Another tactic is flexible withdrawals. Reducing his first-year withdrawal from $38,000 to $32,000 in a down market could extend portfolio longevity dramatically. This is not theoretical. Over 5 decades of historical market data, back-tested scenarios show that sequence of returns risk is the single biggest factor that differentiates successful retirements from failures. It's also invisible in most retirement calculators because they assume perfect long-term averages, not the rough water of real life. So the question hanging in the air, how can you design your retirement to withstand a storm like Ben's? In the next segment, we'll explore tax traps, required minimum distributions, and the tax torpedo that can hit retirees in their 70s, often blindside them if they follow the standard advice blindly. Now, let's talk about the hidden tax bomb that can explode decades of careful saving. The required minimum distribution, or RMD. combined with Social Security, what I like to call the tax torpedo. Alex and Ben both built their 401k and IRA accounts following decades of disciplined saving. By age 73, Alex's traditional accounts have grown to $1.3 million. Ben's, after those rough early withdrawals, are closer to $750,000. The IRS requires that retirees start pulling a calculated amount each year once they hit the RMD age. For Alex, the first RMD is roughly $50,000, fully taxable. For Ben, it's about $28,000. Here's where it gets tricky. Social Security benefits aren't exempt from taxation. The IRS uses a metric called provisional income to decide how much of your Social Security is taxed. If your combined income exceeds certain thresholds around $44,000 for married couples filing jointly, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits becomes taxable. For Alex, this means his first RMD can push him over the threshold, causing a huge spike in his effective tax rate. It can exceed 35% in his mid-70s, higher than what he paid during his peak earning years. Ben, though withdrawing less, is still exposed because any RMD now takes a bigger bite out of his smaller portfolio. Whew. But here's the insight most people miss. There's a window to take control. Between retirement and the RMD trigger age, a retiree can do Roth conversions. Convert part of a traditional IRA to Roth, pay taxes at today's lower rates, say 12 or 22%, and permanently remove that money from future RMD calculations. Think of it like moving grain from a public silo to a private pantry. You pay a little now, but avoid a huge forced tax later. This is the golden conversion window, often missed. Many advisors don't raise it because moving money out of managed accounts reduces their AUM fees, creating a subtle conflict of interest. Even small adjustments can have a dramatic impact. Imagine converting $50,000 per year over 10 years. That's $500,000 shielded from RMD taxation down the line. And for someone like Ben, who had a rough start, Roth conversions could mean the difference between maintaining a stable income or being forced to sell assets at a discount during market volatility. Next, we'll explore another hidden cost retirees often ignore, the pre-65 healthcare gap. How one couple's well-planned $15,000 annual budget ballooned to over $26,000 and how smart income sequencing could have saved them. $8,000, $12,000 per year. Now, let's talk about another silent killer of early retirement plans. The healthcare gap before Medicare eligibility at 65. Meet Olivia and Ethan, a couple planning to retire at 62. They've done everything right, paid off their house, saved diligently, and projected a combined retirement income of $78,000 per year from portfolio withdrawals. Their retirement model estimated healthcare costs at $15,000 annually. Reality? Their premiums are $2,200 per month for a silver plan in their state. That's $26,400 a year, a 76% increase from the plan number before deductibles and copays even start. And in year 2, Ethan needs a minor procedure, pushing out-of-pocket costs up another $9,200. Suddenly, their carefully designed plan is under serious pressure. Here's the counterintuitive insight. Retirees with moderate to high incomes often get hit harder by the healthcare gap than those with lower incomes. That's because ACA subsidies phase out above 400% of the federal poverty level, roughly $62,000 for a single person in 2025. Olivia and Ethan are above that, so they're fully exposed to market rate premiums. The good news? With strategic income sequencing, this extra cost can be reduced. By drawing from a Roth IRA or a taxable account that primarily returns basis between ages 62 and 64, they could keep their modified adjusted gross income below the subsidy cliff. This move could save $8,000, $12,000 per year legally. It's a subtle but powerful tactic, often overlooked because it requires pre-retirement planning with your accountant, not just a financial advisor. Most calculators still assume a flat generic healthcare expense, missing the actual dollar impact by tens of thousands. Olivia and Ethan's story also underscores another point. Planning for retirement is not just about market returns. Unexpected costs, regulatory rules, and timing decisions can derail a plan that seems solid on paper. A misstep in just these early years can ripple through decades of withdrawals, amplifying sequence of returns risk. Next up, we'll explore the psychological and behavioral side of retirement with a new character, Liam, who discovers that structure and purpose in early retirement can be as critical as dollars and cents. His story will reveal a surprisingly effective way to protect your portfolio while also improving life satisfaction. Let's shift focus from dollars to human behavior. Financial planning often ignores the psychological impact of leaving work, yet it can make or break retirement success. Meet Liam, 59, who just retired with $1.4 million in retirement accounts and $80,000 in a taxable brokerage. By all measures, he's financially secure. Yet, within months, Liam feels disoriented. The routines and structure that defined his life for decades vanish overnight. Studies confirm this. Retirees who lack a structured schedule report lower satisfaction, even controlling for income and health. Humans thrive on role clarity. When the loading cranes of work stop, many feel adrift, which can inadvertently trigger financial stress. Liam's solution? He starts a part-time consulting gig, 20 hours a week, earning roughly $42,000 per year. He doesn't need the money, but this income serves as a buffer. During market downturns, he draws from this supplemental income instead of liquidating investments. His portfolio stays intact while the ship navigates rough waters. Here's the financial insight. Even modest supplemental income in the first 5 years of retirement dramatically reduces sequence of returns risk. Liam's unplanned work acts like a shock absorber, preserving his cargo while also giving him purpose and structure. Now, consider the broader trend. Many early retirees return to work not because of money, but because of lost identity and structure. A RAND survey shows a significant portion of those who leave before 65 go back to employment within 2 years. This behavioral pattern intersects with finances. Claiming Social Security early to cover cash shortfalls can permanently reduce benefits, and selling investments under stress can exacerbate portfolio erosion. The lesson? Retirement planning is not just arithmetic. It's also a behavioral science problem. Supplementary income, structured routines, and strategic withdrawal adjustments aren't luxuries. They are high-leverage tools to stabilize both mind and portfolio. Next, we'll consolidate these insights into 3 actionable moves you can implement to safeguard your retirement from hidden costs, taxes, and psychological pitfalls, creating a complete unloading manual for the modern retiree. Now that we understand the risks, sequence of returns, tax torpedo, healthcare gap, and behavioral pitfalls, it's time for practical steps. Think of this as the manual for unloading your cargo safely. Step 1. Build a 2-year cash buffer before retirement. Calculate your actual annual expenses, including the real healthcare premiums you'll pay if under 65. Multiply by 2 and place the money in a high-yield savings account or short-term treasury ladder, separate from your portfolio. This is your storm fund. During early market downturns, withdraw from this buffer instead of selling equities. Your portfolio remains intact, continuing to compound. Step 2. Model your early retirement income for healthcare efficiency. Use real premium quotes from healthcare.gov considering your projected income. Explore scenarios where withdrawals come from a Roth IRA or a taxable account that primarily returns basis. Keeping your income below the ACA subsidy cliff can save $8,000, $12,000 annually for a couple. Bring these numbers to your accountant, not just a financial advisor, to run side-by-side comparisons. Step 3. Treat Social Security claiming age as a longevity bet, not short-term cash flow. If you would have to claim early due to a short-term cash shortfall, solve the cash issue first using your buffer, supplemental income, or temporary spending adjustments. Waiting until 70 can permanently increase your benefit by over $12,000 per year, amounting to $180,000 plus over 20 years, inflation adjusted. Longevity math is non-negotiable. It doesn't care about immediate pressure. Step 4. Sequence withdrawals strategically. Taxable accounts first, traditional 401k, IRA second, Roth last. This sequence reduces taxes and preserves flexibility for Roth conversions during the golden window. Step 5. Maintain purpose and structure. Supplemental income, volunteering, part-time consulting, or side projects are not just lifestyle choices. They protect your portfolio by reducing withdrawals during critical early years. Liam's story illustrates this perfectly. $42,000 of earned income shielded his savings, reducing sequence of returns risk while giving him daily structure. These 5 moves combined create a robust, multi-layered defense against the hidden threats that blindside most early retirees. They turn a potentially unstable cargo ship into a vessel ready for the storms of real-world retirement. Here's the bottom line. Retirement is not just a numbers game. It's a combination of timing, taxes, hidden costs, and human behavior. The moment you stop working, your financial world changes, the loading cranes go quiet, the ship rises, and the rules you relied on for decades no longer apply. Sequence of returns risk can silently erode your savings if you withdraw during early market downturns. The tax torpedo of RMDs, combined with Social Security, can push your effective tax rate higher than ever before. Pre-65 healthcare costs can dwarf your projections if you're above subsidy thresholds. And psychological factors, loss of structure, identity, purpose, can make retirees return to work under less favorable conditions. But there's hope. Alex, Olivia, and Ethan and Liam all illustrate that with awareness and preparation, these risks can be managed or even reversed. Build your cash buffer. Model your income for healthcare efficiency. Sequence withdrawals strategically. Leverage Roth conversions. And maintain supplemental income or structured activities. 12. These steps aren't optional. They are your retirement insurance. Remember, every decision has a ripple effect. Waiting until 70 to claim Social Security could mean over $180,000 more over 20 years. A well-timed Roth conversion could save you tens of thousands in future taxes. A 2-year cash buffer could shield you from selling assets at a loss during a market storm. And having a purposeful routine can protect both your finances and your well-being. If these strategies just upgraded your retirement IQ, hit like and subscribe. Consider it your down payment on decades of financial freedom. And comment plan if you're ready to restructure your retirement architecture with purpose, strategy, and control. By integrating these strategies, you're not just protecting money, you're creating a retirement that survives volatility, taxes, and human tendencies. A retirement where you are in control, not at the mercy of the system. Take this seriously. The unloading manual for early retirees is rarely taught, but it is essential. Follow it, and your ship can weather any storm, preserving your cargo and your peace of mind for decades.